Welcome. We are live again. It is Thursday. It is 1 o'clock or just after. It is 30 with Karen and Justin. And I never know which one to say first, Karen or Justin. Who's better? Who's worse? I don't know. Who cares? We're just having
Who
fun today.
cares?
We got a great guest today, and I'm really excited actually to be chatting with Vanessa Vargos from PSW to the rescue. She's got over 15 years experience in personal support, especially with dementia and Alzheimer's care, which is actually really poignant for us at the moment. And she's been recognized as the LHIN's Hero in the Home. We're going to hear about her journey and the amazing work that her and her team do for all of those people out there that she helps. So, Vanessa, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me, and it's an honor to be here. Thank
That's
you.
great. So, what inspired you to become a PSW? It's such a difficult profession, I would think.
Yeah, it's very interesting if I put it that
Interesting. Good word.
way. Yes. No, so actually my story it's very simple. One day my mom saw a newspaper ad and they saying that we were offering PSW training for people with no experience. So
Oh,
she showed it to me and honestly we both look at each other and we said, "Yeah, we should give it a try."
so you both did it.
Yes, so me and my mom went to school together.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, so I share this. I don't know if you saw, but it's me, my mom, and my sister. We're the three owners of the company.
Right.
So my
Right.
mom is the CEO, so that's why I don't call myself the CEO because she already has it. So I put myself as the operation manager and the business development of the company. So
Very cool. So
yeah,
that set you off on the path, and it's been a family business ever since.
yes,
Well,
yes,
that's awesome because it's perfect little connection to us and our family business. That's
yes.
really neat. I
So,
don't know if you know Karen's my mom, so
Oh,
that's
okay,
why
no,
this is
I
a
didn't
fun little
know.
yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. That's so special.
There you
So
go. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
what it feels like because same thing, the business, I'm doing it with my mom and my sister. So it's all about family.
It's all about family, a lot of ups and downs,
Yes.
a couple of arguments here and there along the way.
no, all ups, all ups. Vanessa, just for the average viewer that is maybe watching this, PSW, tell me what that stands for.
It stands for personal support worker.
Okay.
And the idea is essentially nursing in a way, right?
Yes, yes. So we're like the helper for the nurse. Yes.
Right.
Very good.
Oh, you're
Uh,
the helper for the nurse.
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
right. Was there a moment in your career early on when you realized that this was what you were meant to do?
Yes. Yes. I had one client and it was very emotional. She said, "Thank you so much for showing up." That moment, I realized, like, wow, she really cares that I'm here helping her. And it was just that moment that I said, wow, there's really people depend on me with my help. And it was just, it opened my mind, like, wow, because when I started working, I get like a list of names.
Yeah.
And it's like going to war. You don't know what shape you're gonna find the client or the home. And to be the client thanking you for your time to come in to help them, it's the world to them. So that day it was my moment. So
Mm.
and I'm so grateful that because I knew I like helping people, but I didn't know how. And I didn't even know this profession existed if it wasn't for the ad in the newspaper.
Right.
Oh, it's
In
yeah.
the newspaper. So hilariously, you're dating yourself because there's no ads in newspapers anymore the same way that there used to be.
that was 19.
Yeah, 19 something, yes. Oh, that's funny. I'm reading here that you sort of specialize or sort of drew yourself towards dementia and Alzheimer's care a little bit.
Yes.
What was it that drew you to that specifically as opposed to other forms of care?
Well, that's what my training was. So
Ah,
when they send us to training, you have to do about 250 hours.
yeah.
And that's where my training I got to experience working with people with dementia and Alzheimer's. So they call it lockdown unit. So they threw me there and they're like, yep, go learn. I was like, but
Wow.
it was the best thing ever because
Right.
it taught me to be patient, to be grateful, take the time to be in the moment, be present. So that was the best thing that they ever did for me. They didn't even know they did that, but they did that for me. So
Well, it's interesting when you talk about patience in that way, because I can understand how there can be a buildup of frustration with folks that don't, that their brain is broken essentially, really at that point, and they're not acting in a normal fashion, and you're not understanding, and they're not understanding you. I can understand how that could turn into frustration.
yes.
And it's so difficult to temper that frustration and create. One of the things Karen said to me a long time ago with different folks is it's better to be fascinated than frustrated with people.
Yeah.
Karen said that to me, I don't know how many years ago, and that stuck with me forever. You know,
Wow.
in any situation that you arrive in, whether it be a car accident or someone yelling at you in the store or whatever, I don't know, better to be fast. You never know what they're going through that day.
Yeah.
No.
Right. So very interesting. I know that you were recognized for the hero in the home.
Yes.
What does that mean to you, and how does that represent you?
Oh my God. So to me, that means the world to me because when I go and help someone, I'm not expecting anything in return. I want to give them my kindness and my understanding that, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. And I'm not expecting anything back. And nice, it means a lot because they value my time being there and helping them through what they're going through because sometimes we're the only persons that we come to see them in the whole day. So
Hmm. Yeah.
Right. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only visitors they might have. Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
I
Explain.
remember,
Go
so
ahead.
just as a note, I remember during COVID, I volunteered to deliver meals to people, uh, Vanessa, and it's the interesting thing was that there were a couple of people that never saw anybody else but me
Mm.
during the day, and I even taught a couple of the people how to use Zoom so that they could have Zoom meetings with themselves with other people. And it was interesting, but I can understand your point. You must be a great hero.
Thank you. Thank you.
You talk a little bit about sending photos and videos, and that seems a little bit unique to me. How did that start? And maybe explain a little bit of that to us.
Yes. So, um, when I worked in the community for somebody else before I had my agency, is we saw that there's no lack of report. So families didn't know what happened during the visit,
Mhm.
and we weren't like no one told us you have to tell the family what's going on. It was just go in, do the work, and here's the list of duties and do that, that's it. So I said, and then I got a relationship with the daughter and I got their number and then I sent in the pictures and the report of what happened. And then I saw it made so much different for the daughter. Like we weren't supposed
Right.
to do that, but I
Right.
did it
What a
anyways
great
because I
idea.
care.
So it keeps them in the loop.
Yes, it keeps him in the loop. And I said, you know what? Your dad took his medication. He used the bathroom because sometimes people were
That's amazing.
constipated and they didn't know, right? And especially if the daughter or son don't live with the parent, they don't know what's going on, right? So
Yeah,
they're in
yeah.
the blind. So then I said, when I'm gonna have my company one day, I'm gonna make sure there's communication between the client and like with the family and the
Right.
company because they need to know what's going on. We're your eyes and ears. So I got my wish come true, say one day, and here I am, making changing lives one at a time.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
How do you ensure consistent support across every client with different needs? How does that work for you?
So when we start with the client, we make sure that they're getting the same person all the time. So that
Oh,
person
okay.
gets to know their routine. And if
Right.
they're not happy, sometimes you match, like the energy doesn't match, they're not happy, we'll
Right.
change it. So
Right.
that's not a problem. But we make sure that we're sending you to the same person and that person stays with you till the care gets, till you stop care. But we try to send two people So because just in case for the backup, for the first person calls in sick, and there's
Yeah.
a backup.
Yeah.
So we send two, but we send them the main one all the time, and then we have the backup for her, and that seems to work a lot because the family gets a relief. And so like, oh, does she know where the shampoo is? What about the pasta, right? So it's the same person all the time. And
Mm,
also for the senior, they're not getting anxiety. Oh my God, who's coming today? Like, it's very frustrating, even for the family, for the daughter, because the daughter said to me, oh my God, I hope when Maru comes, we still get another PSW to cover her. And but it's the same second one, and it's even they get anxiety too, so not just the client, the family too. So it's a whole package. So when you take a client, you take it like a whole package. It's like when you get married with someone, right?
yeah.
You're taking the whole family. Same scenario.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that sort of answers my next question, because I was going to ask about building trust with the client. If a client's confused or a little bit anxious or resistant to care, it would seem that having the same person day in and day out, especially if they develop a good relationship,
Yeah.
will completely remove any barriers to wanting to have care, because they become
Yeah.
comfortable with that person that comes through the door every day or every week or whatever
Oh
it ends up doing.
yes, definitely. Yeah. And I have my client yesterday actually. I had to sometimes because I'm the one that goes and open the care plans,
Right.
and so they get to meet me too. So then I get to be sometimes like the extra. So if a PSW comes in sick, then they already know me because they
Right.
met me, and they sometimes think I'm the one that's coming to do the care. But I go, no, I'm not the one. I'm so sorry,
Yeah.
but they still get to meet me. But my point being is, I went to this client yesterday. I supplemented my PSW, and she said, I only want my regular to wash me because she's seen me already. She knows me
Right.
what I like.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, completely understand. I'm not trying to take, replace her.
It's
And
so
it's so
interesting. We
sad.
don't think about those things.
Well,
No.
and it's interesting because my mother was like that. She had a PSW going in to see her in her apartment, and then another person came and she refused to have a bath with them
Right.
because they didn't know her and she didn't
Mm.
know them, so
Yeah.
Does that also help with keeping someone with dementia, let's say, calm and grounded and engaged on a difficult day? Like
Oh
having
my God. Yes, it
yes.
does. They
Oh,
remember the person,
right.
especially if it's the same one all the time. 100%. And then not only that, they remember how you. So if they make them feel, safe and, keeping up with the same routines, they remember all that. So all
Yes.
those little stuff, it's a big
Yes.
deal for them.
Yeah,
So
we've been touched by dementia in our family a couple of times, and we've learned about that, the idea of routine being so important, and having similar routines over and over and over again to keep them comfortable. Because I found that the moment you deviate from that routine, confusion sets in big
yes,
time. And so having that person consistently being the same person, I'm sure, is a huge help.
yes.
How do
Yeah.
you approach communication when a client struggles to find words or becomes a little frustrated?
I just kind of say, you know what, take your time, don't rush,
Mm.
because I got all the time. So I'm here to help you the right way. And then just kind of give them, take a deep breath. Just be, oh, sorry, just be at their time,
Right,
So they're like all this 100 words going in a mile. Just don't rush them
right.
because it takes time for them. I have clients like that before, and you have to be patient. Like it teaches you to be in the moment. Like you have to be in the moment and be present, because if not, and then they're gonna get frustrated and you're gonna get frustrated, and it's
Mm.
just gonna escalate even worse. So
You also have a very important role with caregivers as well, because the caregiver that's there on a daily basis is probably in the trenches, as they might say, and really dealing with it every day. Is
yeah.
there a common emotion or a challenge emotionally that you see or that they face that a caregiver would face?
Oh my, okay, so I have a daughter right now going through, sorry, 1 second. I left the fridge open. I apologize.
Oh, they left the fridge open. That's what teenagers do. Okay. That's
Yes.
just is what it is. I get it 100%.
So
It's real life, folks. That's what we're dealing with right here,
yes,
right now. I
that's
love it. It is what it
it.
is.
So I had one daughter. She actually is going through chemo, but she also have to look after her mother. And
Oh,
she says, I feel like my mom has taken years of my life.
oh, wow.
So I was like, I'm here. She's like, I'm glad I have you guys, because without you guys, I don't know how I can go through this. You know,
Right.
I reassure her. I said, well, I'm here for you. You call me anytime, and you know, whatever time you need, I'm always here. And then just those words, knowing that there's a support at the end of the other side of the phone,
Yeah.
it makes her feel really comfortable. So,
Are you one of the first people that can sort of see the signs of burnout in the caregivers?
oh yeah,
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 I can imagine. Yeah.
yes, for
Um,
sure.
do you, how do you help families stay connected to a loved one as dementia progresses and communication becomes harder?
I would it just, again with the pictures and the videos and the report,
Right.
I'm being their ears and their eyes, because sometimes the family member doesn't live here, they live overseas.
Right.
Yeah.
And through all this communication, where they're getting to see how their parents or their loved ones are going through. So this has allowed us to open more doors for the family to see that there's actually people that care. And for me, it's not the quantity, is I want to give the quality of care, because that's why we open our company. And then people ask me often, why don't you join the one with the LIN, they call it, with the government? I said, I feel like I will lose my mission, because it would be more of their mission
Right.
than mine. And that's why I left that. I left somebody else's dream to become my own dream, to help people the right way, to advocate for them. So everywhere I go, I always talk about my company and how we want to help people the right way. So
So let's go with that a little bit and let's say what makes your team's approach a little different from the PSWs families are usually assigned through traditional healthcare.
again, it goes back into patience, the routines, just being in the present, because that's all remember. They remember how you make them feel. And we're all about compassion and making them feel safe. And it all comes down to that, right? Because they forget that, they forget what they did in the present. But if you make them feel like they're valuable and you're there for them, they feel that.
Mm.
So
It's funny because they come in and out of the conscious thought, right? So there's moments when, only from experience from some folks in my life, there's moments when you can sit and have a real conversation with someone, but then in the next sentence, it can be, gobbledygook, right? So it's kind of all over the place a little bit. And being able to be in the present moment during the coherent thought moment is so important because in that coherent moment, a conversation could be like, I think the hardest thing to do is to have a conversation with someone like you while that person's in the room. I'm the caregiver. I'm talking to you. The person I'm caring for is right here. And we're talking about them.
yes,
And we're saying things that are not negative, but confusing to this person who's trying to listen and understand. And it's talking about me and I'm going to a home or I'm going to do this or what is happening? And there's moments where they're like, I don't want to do that. And then there's moments it kind of goes back and forth between these two. I can imagine that's probably one of the most challenging things that you deal with.
it happened to me yesterday, actually. I was at a
Yeah.
client's home, and then the daughter say, she woke up during the night, and she woke up and drank a couple of glasses of water, and then she's like, no, I didn't. She's like, Mom, I saw you. No,
Yeah.
I didn't. She
Yeah.
said, okay, well, you didn't then.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
So
Of course. You
yeah,
can't fight
so
it.
no,
Have you ever dealt with sort of more anger and violence in that sort of,
oh
I'm
my,
sure that comes up. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
And how do you handle that, especially as a woman, if you were dealing with a man that might be, even though they're older, a man could be larger and stronger and things like that, right?
yeah. So what I had to do, I had to step away from the situation, because
Mhm.
it's only gonna aggravate it even more.
Sure.
and then just kind of watch them from far away. And then just kind of they'll forget about it. So just that's all
Mm.
you have to do, because if you go and try to, fix a situation, no, you can't. They already set their mind that they're gonna do it the way they want to, and then
Right.
that's it. So you can't fight it. No.
You can't fight it. Give it a minute, step away,
Step away, yeah.
then come back to it. And a lot of times I feel like maybe their mindset has changed, or
Yes.
their zone of consciousness has changed into a
Yes.
different moment,
Oh,
I guess is what
definitely.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that's
so
So,
quick. They just pop in and out of these thoughts in their
and,
brain.
and it's
yeah.
true
Yeah.
because, as you know, my dad
Yeah.
had Alzheimer's, and that was a tough one because we never knew whether he knew me or not, and so this is something that you have to sort of go with the flow, and you just find out by just talking to them, right? But
Yes.
it's funny, we talk about interesting, Vanessa. A friend of mine just called me yesterday in tears because she had to put her husband into a home because he has dementia. And the family got together and made a conscious vote that this was the best thing possible, right?
Mm.
So what happened was he was there for a week, and Justin, you were talking about temper. He lost his temper constantly, right? And he started screaming and yelling at people, and of course the home is used to that, because well, not used to it, but they are able to deal with
Equipped
it.
to deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But my question to you is, you know, as a wife to a man like that, how do you handle that, as a wife? Because your your whole personal well-being is taken away, and you have to you ha- have to actually um live with this person. And so I'm sure you see a lot of that the caregiver, or the caregiver, the wife or the person living with that.
Daughter or the son,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do
Yeah.
you suggest for a wife or a husband that has to deal with that?
I know it's tough. I always want to keep the people at home, but it comes to a point that you have to, because I have one client that I'm dealing with, and she actually had a dream that her daughter was in the house and sick. So she called the ambulance, and it was waiting for the ambulance outside of the house.
Oh.
So can you imagine
Oh,
if something would have happened to them, they just escaped the house, and
mm,
so it's stuff like that that you have to make a tough decision. I know, we soar by when you do your vows, and good, and and good in health, and for sickness and health. But it comes to a point that you have to, because it becomes such a big burden for you. I don't mean to say this word, but it's a lot of work for you,
Mm.
and it's you have to.
Are you
mhm.
I
part of that decision making process to help them along that way? Like making that recommendation when you see that moment arise?
Yes, I have done it before. I have told them, like, you can't
Mm.
continue like this. There's times that she's walking like a zombie the next day,
Mm.
because they didn't want to go to bed during the night. So it's
Mm.
like, how do you, but, and like they change their sleep pattern too, right? So it's like,
Right.
Oh yeah.
how can you
Mhm.
go
How
on
do
like
you
that? You
deal with
can't.
it? Yeah.
And I give them, okay, this is, I explain them, he's not sleeping during the night. You're awake, during the night, and then you trying to catch up your sleep when he's sleeping. It's like your life is not your life anymore, right?
Mhm.
So,
And
and
I think the hardest thing from the caregiver's perspective tends to be the thought process of, how do I say this carefully? Keeping the dignity of the patient or the person that they're caring for, and understanding that the right thing to do sometimes isn't the obvious thing. Like in their mind, I think what tends to happen based on experiences that we've had is that, they believe that they need to keep them here and keep them with me and in this house. And that creates And eventually there becomes a moment when that becomes untenable anymore and you just can't do that. And when that moment happens, the decision needs to be made to move on before something catastrophic happens. That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
when we hear, I'm assuming,
Yeah.
stories of someone like falling into a ditch somewhere because they got out of the house and they disappeared and they passed away in a ditch somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I really feel like that's a really interesting moment for you to be in, to be able to say it's time.
Yes.
And I would imagine, based on the trust that you build over the time that you spend with people, they
Yes.
tend to listen to you more. Because
Yes.
one of the things that I think will probably happen, and I don't know 100% of how this works, but when family talks to family, it's a very difficult conversation.
Oh
But
God,
when a
yes.
third party like you comes along and says, hey guys, this is my recommendation, I'm
Yes.
sure it's a much easier conversation for people to absorb.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes it takes time, but they finally listen. But I
Mm,
say, I've been around for so long and this is all the time. I know you love your loved one and you want the best. This is the best option.
mm.
It's hard to hear that from people because it's their loved one. Like I can't do this to my family member.
I think what I find most extraordinary about people we talk to in industries like this, because we've talked to numerous people in care related industries. We talked to a death doula a couple of weeks ago,
Okay.
right? Which was, I mean, that's an unreal, like, being there for someone's last moments is incredible. And just in a way, heartwarming, but also just so difficult in a way to be around death all the time. And that's what you've done essentially, is put yourself in a position where you see pain and sorrow and sadness and things like that and try to make the best of those situations and create softer worlds for people in those situations. And I probably, as much as I'm sure people thank you and you get paid for what you do, you probably genuinely don't get thanked. So I'm going to say this out of genuine love and just honesty, is like, thank you for doing what you do,
Thank
because I don't know that I could. And the fact that you stepped up to do it, it seems just so wonderful, and your personality is so soft
thank
and beautiful, and I can imagine how you are around people just by having this conversation. So thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. And I also want to say something like
Sure.
um I I feel like I took on my PSW because I love helping people and now I also help people in different ways. So I'm all about, helping other businesses and helping each other because it takes a whole village to, you know, come together. So and getting the word out there.
Yeah.
Mm.
So thank you so much for having this platform for all our businesses here in Burlington to come together to talk about it because we need more space like this. They need to know. And I appreciate. Thank you so much, Justin and Karen, for doing this.
What a great idea, Justin. We should have all these people on Zoom Q&A.
Well, that's what we've been doing, Karen.
No,
Just
no, I'm talking about all at once.
oh, all at once to talk.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be
okay.
chaos. Let's just start with that.
Yeah, chaos. It would
Yeah.
have to be at
Well,
least.
it really comes down to, I genuinely like, and I would say, thank you to Andrea as well, who sets all these up and gets people involved and sets all this up, because genuinely half the people I end up talking to and doing this stuff with, I mean, I know them because we do research the week of, but we don't necessarily pick them. And to have people like you come on and express your thoughts and your feelings about these types of industries and businesses and things, I'm learning as much as everybody else that's listening is learning as well, which is really cool. And I appreciate that. So, listen, do you have any last advice or one thing you would like to tell a family going through something like this? Or maybe they're on the cusp of, what do I do here, because they've started to realize some things, just before we go and wrap up here.
So my message is don't wait till you're overwhelmed to ask for
Mm,
help. Yeah, just you don't have to go through it alone.
you
There's lots
don't.
of help out there. So reach out to help, because it's a crazy world out there. And I know you think you're the only person that you're going through this, but you're
Mm,
not. There's a
right.
lot of people are going through this. So
Right.
reach out for help for sure.
I feel like the words no shame in asking for help is highly
No.
important here,
Yes.
right? It's almost better to have too much help than not enough in the moment when you need it.
Yes.
There you
Yes.
go.
No.
And look at this wonderful smile. She's so smiley and lovely.
Yeah.
I've had so much fun today, right? Look at this.
Yes, I did. And but I would say about this type of line of work, what has taught me the importance is to be patient.
Mm,
And it's most important having a plan, and every families has dementia differently, but what makes everything easier now, right? So
right, right.
yes, such
Thank
a
you so much, Vanessa.
thank you
We
so much.
very much
Very
appreciate
much,
your time
Vanessa.
today.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, this has been wonderful. And, you know, we will put all of your contact information for your company below so that anybody that needs help or is thinking about
Yeah.
help, I'm assuming there's a process by which you would get in touch with people and go through an onboarding process to start the process.
Yes. Oh, yeah. So I'm the one that takes the calls when they call, and then I go and meet with the family, and
Very
then
good.
I explain them what we do. So I'm the one that does that, and they usually think I'm the one that's going. They're like, "Oh, we like you already." I was like, "Oh, thank you." But I make sure that they're getting someone that is like me, because what I tell them is, you're trusting me with your loved one, and I don't take it lightly. Your family is my family now, and I want to treat them the right way, the way it's supposed to be. And that's why I created this company, because I don't want anyone in my watch to be mistreated and not be treated with not respect. I want them to be respected and with dignity. So that's why I'm
And
here to make a difference.
that is a perfect place to end. That was
Perfect.
amazing.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everyone, and thanks for watching. All the contact info will be below. If you have a need, by all means, reach out, and I'm sure Vanessa will be happy to come and
Yeah.
help. And thank you so much, everyone. Have a good day, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.